Hi there, everyone. This is Ashlei Williams. I am the assistant editor of The Wholesaler, and today I am out in Romeoville, Illinois to speak with Dr. Donald McNeeley. I am at the headquarters of Chicago Tube and Iron, and I'm here to launch our video series that Dr. McNeeley will be doing on a quarterly basis called The McNeeley View. Dr. McNeeley is a well-known executive in the PVF industry, as well as an honoree as Executive of the Year and a professor at Northwestern University School of Engineering. Today we're going to revisit some earlier columns that he did, and we're going to kind of get a feel of talent in our industry as well as debt. You can expect from this video series for a kind of an overview of Dr. McNeeley's thoughts on political and economic issues that are facing us. So just to dive right in, I guess could you start with kind of discussing what you feel are our two greatest issues that the industry is facing right now?
So Ashley, thank you. It's a pleasure being part of the video series, and I look forward to sharing some thoughts that hopefully will benefit our viewers, our industry. Our industry needs to be robust. I think our industry plays a very critical role in the nation's health. A robust industry certainly has a direct correlation with what's happening with the nation. There are a couple of challenges affecting our nation, and I think if they affect our nation, they affect our industry. As indicated, I think we become one in the same. Our industry is nothing more than a microcosm of what's happening in the economy at large. And I think the two major issues facing the industry and country today are these excessive debt levels. Now, there is a contingent out there that says, so what? The debt's high, the debt will get higher. What is the problem? The economy goes on. If you study economic history and you look at different cultures, you have a situation where perhaps in Asia, for every dollar they earn, they will spend 92 cents. So the reciprocal of that data point is the savings rate. So if somebody earns $1 and they spend 92 cents, the inverse is the savings rate of 8%. They're putting away 8% for that rainy day. In Europe, perhaps for every dollar they earn, they spend 98 cents. The savings rate is 2%. Well, in America, for too many years, for every dollar we earn, we spend $1.04 or $1.05. So the economy on its surface looked to be robust, looked to be healthy, but there is a problem with sustainability of an economy that's run on debt. And by the time it manifests, by the time we come to the epiphany of awareness, sometimes you pass that economic tipping point. So I'm very concerned about the debt levels of the nation, and I'm also concerned very much about the talent pool. To whom are we going to turn over our life's work to? How does that affect our industry? It affects our industry, Ashley, because you have a situation where government spending is 25% of the nation's economic activity. So in that $16.7 trillion GDP that I gave you earlier, by and large, 25% of that spend is government spending. So if the government needs to rein in spending, and I think they can do that by addressing numerous target-rich opportunities for waste and excess, but as the government spending slows down, and I think it has to, at least by eradicating the waste, it's going to have an impact on industrial activity in the nation, which is precisely the industry that your members are in.
Going back, you kind of touched on talent in the industry. Could you give your overall thoughts on where you think talent levels are in the industry, and what would you like to see moving forward?
So the concern with talent is there's some debate on the actual data points. However, the range of the debate still makes it a legitimate issue. For example, I guess I would contend that 50% of our industry will be eligible for retirement in the next 60 months. So in the next 5 years, a mere half a decade, 1 out of every 2 people in our industry will be eligible to retire. Now, whether or not they will, I'm not sure, because in all due respect, that historical demarcation point of age 65 for retirement, because of debt that I spoke of earlier, the government has not only amassed massive amounts of debt, so have today's consumers. Healthcare continues to be expensive. to qualify for Medicaid or Medicare. That age will continue to be pushed out, meaning people will have to work longer. But let's return to the number. 1 out of every 2 people in our industry will be eligible for retirement in the next 60 months. So what is the new talent pool coming in? I think the attractiveness is if somebody's looking for an industry with an accelerated career path where they can have advancements and responsibilities at an earlier age than other industries. I think this is a great industry for advancement for young people to come in. But from a nation standpoint and our industry standpoint, where do we find the CNC operators? Where do we find the cold welders? Where do we find the tool and die men and women? I think we are absolutely depleting our trades and our talents. And I'm very concerned about that talent pool going forward. The other life that I live, I have the good pleasure of being at Northwestern in the engineering school. And we graduate nationwide 60,000 engineers a year. India 600,000, China 600,000. So we in effect are graduating 60,000 engineers a year to China and India's 1.2 million. And then we need immigration law reform because we're short these types of talents in our nation. But once we educate these students, what do? We don't let them stay here. We return them to their homeland to do what? To compete against who? Us. So we've got a lot of work to do out there.
And is there anything else we didn't touch on in our conversation today regarding your overall outlook for the industry?
So in terms of outlook, I think, one, it's an industry that should be attractive to the next generation coming in. And I think it should be attractive due to the earlier metrics where I talked about how much of our industry is going to be turning over in the next 60 months. If I'm coming off of a college campus and I'm looking for an accelerated career path, I would like to come to this industry if A, I knew it existed, and B, if you came to talk to me, and C, I knew it was available to me. So I think our industry needs to do a better job of getting that message out there. Now, how do we do that? I think our industry is very humble. I think a lot of the PVF guys and gals are very self-depreciating. And frankly, I don't think they know, or if they know, I don't think they're giving themselves enough credit for job creation, employment creation. So even if you run a small service center, contact the local high school and represent at the career day. If you don't recruit out of that high school class, if you're not successful in getting somebody to major in a math or science when they go on to college, you've gotten the word out there. So I think if you're a modest service center or wholesaler, you've got a voice, and I think that voice is important. One of the things I'm noticing on college campuses and high school campuses today is if somebody makes a payroll, all of a sudden that's fashionable again. We need people that make a payroll. So I think what we need to do is get out on high school career days and talk to people. I think wholesalers need to save a couple of dollars for a internship or two and bring college kids in. Sometimes it'll lead to employment, sometimes it won't, but at least the word got out there. I think find a high school, and it's amazing what a few $1,000s could do in sponsoring a room. You know, we adopted at Chicago Tube and Iron a middle school, and we put in an engineering program where they would disassemble and reassemble bicycles to specifications, and we would have inspectors come in for inspection day. And then after those bicycles went through 2 or 3 cycles, we'd bring in a new wave of bicycles. But with the old wave of bicycles, we have the students donate them to inner city kids. And we gave each inner city kid 2 bicycles, one for them, and we wanted them to feel the power of giving, so we asked them to go back to the orphanage and give the other one away. These are not very time-consuming, not very expensive, and it's a great legacy. So more and more of those type of things. If anyone has time to teach, community colleges are always in need. Universities are always in need of people that make a payroll. If not as a full-time faculty member or an adjunct or a clinical professor, as guest speakers. And I certainly always have room for a businessman or woman to come and speak in my class, and they're welcome to. So those are the type of things we can do to make a difference.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. And for you all watching, if you would like to get a deeper dive into Dr. McNeeley's quarterly column, you can visit us at www.thewholesaler.com.